Hi and welcome to Out Nerdy. It's Paul, and today it's going to be episode 2 of She-Hulk. Now, before we get into that, let's just look at some actual good writing. Let's have a look at a strong woman who's had to overcome difficulties compared to her. Now, in this show, they are constantly told she is oppressed. And yet everything we see clearly shows the opposite. So anyway, we see the scene with Bruce and Natasha from Age of Ultron. And they're both talking a little bit about each other, about how he's unable to give her a family and she's unable to have one anyway. And you both see the struggle that these characters go through. And it is absolutely quality writing. Or at least it is compared to what we get here. Yeah? So I just want, just let's have a look. Just look at it. Just embrace what there is.
I want you to understand that
Natasha, where can I go? Where in the world am I not a threat?
You're not a threat to me.
You sure? Even if I didn't just... There's no future with me. I can't have this. Kids. Do the math, I physically can't.
Neither can I. In the Red Room, where I was trained, where I was raised, they have a graduation ceremony. They sterilize you. It's efficient. One less thing to worry about. The one thing that might matter more than a mission. Makes everything easier. Even killing. You still think you're the only monster on the team?
And then, back to this.
Well, here's the thing, Bruce. I'm great at controlling my anger. I do it all the time. When I'm catcalled in the street, when incompetent men explain my own area of expertise to me, I do it pretty much every day, because if I don't, I will get called emotional or difficult, or I might just literally get murdered. So I'm an expert at controlling my anger because I do it infinitely more than you.
Anyway, so just a quick recap of episode 1. Woe me, Jennifer causes a car crash because she's not paying attention to the road, because she's too busy talking to Bruce about whether Captain America was a virgin during World War II. They get a lot of stuff wrong because they've never watched a Marvel film, let alone a comic, and she crashes whilst avoiding a UFO. She rescues Bruce because he has a MacGuffin on his arm, which stops him from turning into the Hulk. It breaks, but somehow Bruce doesn't turn. Who knows? She pulls open the door and rescues him, and he bleeds over an open cut she has. She turns into the Hulk and does a bunk. She comes to in the middle of nowhere, sees a bar. She's in human form. She's all battered and bruised. She goes to the toilet, and in walk in 4 women. 4 women. Let's call them women. Who see the state of her, see that she's in distress, and instead of ringing emergency services, they give her a makeup. Which doesn't make sense to me, but I'm a bloke. What do I know? She goes outside because they leave her at some point, and wouldn't you know it, some pesky men hit on her. She doesn't like that, is about to batter them, and we just see, a quick cut of Bruce as Hulk, and he rescues them more than stops her, I think. And, he rescues a bunch of men from a She-Hulk who clearly has a grasp on her emotions.
Where you going? Let us keep you
Hey,
company.
we're just being friendly.
Yeah, where you going? So what? You two gonna talk to us?
More to that later. Anyway, she comes to again. They're in Mexico. We then get a bit of, Bruce explaining to her what happened. He explains how her blood magically fixed his arm that was still limp from Endgame. And so starts the "she's better than him" segment of the episode. They have a training montage in which she's clearly better than Bruce at Hulk stuff. Now, this is explained by Marvel Bot that he is holding back, which serves no purpose whatsoever. And it doesn't help her development as a character. As I said in my first review, holding back achieves nothing. Pushing her to her limits does. We get the speech that I showed the video from earlier about how oppressed she is, even though we know she isn't. And then they have a fight in which it's a draw somehow, and off she goes to her life. They're at court. Some bird with big knockers crashes through the courtroom wall she's in, and they have a fight. A fight. Well, and that's the end. Boom, done. The end credit scene is Captain America did get some, and it wasn't Peggy. Because we needed to know that, right? So, episode 2, She-Hulk, Woman with Cats. Because let's be honest, that is what this is aimed at. Women who peaked early and only have cats for company. And the cats probably want to eat her. So, she gets fired for saving people in the earlier episode, as it needs to be a retrial. So, I'm not sure if this is legal. She should know it is, because it's a fun legal drama. Anyway, she goes to a family dinner. They have a boring discussion. She goes to the boozer, gets hired by the opposing firm that she was fighting against in episode 1, and they want her to lead a superhuman division. But there's a catch. They only want her as She-Hulk. We get a skit as she talks to us and complains about only being hired because of who she is, whilst the camera pans to a room full of white men, because of course they're evil, and they're only there because of who they are, not because they could be there on merit. Obviously that doesn't happen to white men. We all just, jobs for the boys and all that. You don't have to work for anything. So she goes to the law firm. They want her to represent Emil Blonsky from the Incredible Hulk film. She goes to see him and blows off the instructions from the guards. And she clearly doesn't take anything seriously. Which is stupid, because this is for her benefit. Because she's in, But never mind. It's a joke. It's not funny, but it's a joke. So she meets Blonsky, and he pleads innocence, or at least diminished responsibility, because he had taken the super soldier serum and thought he was going to be Captain America. She rings Bruce, talks to him about it, and eventually takes the job, just as footage of him emerges of the Fight Club scene from Shang-Chi. That's it, the end. That's it. I can't say it's given us much to watch. So what was my thoughts on episode 2? Well, marginally better than episode 1, if I have to say it. Although nothing happens. There's no action scenes whatsoever. It's when she's in the bar, they actually have Ally McBeal on in the telly, because I'm sure that is always shown in boozers in America instead of football or whatever. I don't know. I'm assuming they're trying to keep with the legal thing. But this is a fun legal comedy thing. And I don't know where the jokes are supposed to be. Maybe you have to be a 30-year-old single woman who has a house full of cats to appreciate the jokes, or to understand the jokes. But I consider myself to have quite a good sense of humour. I even used to find Kevin Smith funny at one point. But I've not laughed at this once. cringed, rolled my eyes, gone for fuck's sake, but I've not laughed at it. So what, did they just want to do some kind of sitcom and they had to throw She-Hulk in, or what? When does the fun start? Anyway, that's my review. There's nothing to say. Nothing happened. Oh, if you want to put something, a bit of hypocrisy here, Disney, a bit of hypocrisy. You keep saying you're against objectification. Objectification of women is bad, but you have no problem doing it with the men. In this episode, once again, you have to go back to Captain America's arse. Now I get the joke, I get the gag. It's from Endgame, And Ant-Man says it's Captain America. That's America's arse. But stop it. You can't objectify one and then say the other one's bad. Because as much as the women may have always been in clothing that showed a cleavage or showed an arse or whatever, the men were always still ripped as much as the women. The women went through a full-on work schedule to get in shape to as the best of their ability as the men did. Where now all it is an objectification of men. I'm fine with that if it's both ways, but you can't have double standards. Alright? So just stop it. Concentrate on writing. Yeah. I'm sure Ally McBeal is 10 times better than this. And I never watched that. Because I don't care about fucking legal dramas. Anyway, that's it for me. Please like, share and subscribe. Comment below if you wish. And I will see yous all again. Bye for now.